The untold story of Princess Leonor's childhood. Imagine growing up knowing that one day the entire world will be watching you. Not because you are famous, not because you chose a life in the spotlight, but because you were born into it. From the moment she took her first breath, cameras were waiting. Headlines were already being written. And a destiny that most people could never imagine had already been decided. This is the untold story of, the future queen of, and the childhood that shaped her into the young royal the world sees today. Behind the elegant public appearances and royal speeches lies a story filled with careful parenting, quiet sacrifices, hidden pressures, and surprisingly normal moments. How did she grow up knowing she would one day wear the crown? What was life really like inside the palace walls? And what challenges did she face long before the cameras began following her every step? Stay with us until the very end, because the real story of Princess Leonor's childhood reveals secrets about her personality, her family, and the unique upbringing that prepared her to lead a nation. And if you enjoy royal stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and watch until the end for more fascinating insights into the lives of the world's most intriguing royals. A princess is born. On October 31, 2005, the royal palace became the center of worldwide attention. That was the day Princess Leonor was born to an. At the time, Felipe was still the Prince of Asturias, heir to the Spanish throne. Leonor's birth meant something historic. She instantly became the future Queen of Spain. Her full name, Leonor de Toulouse Los Santos de Borbón y Ortiz, carried centuries of royal history. But inside the palace, she was simply a baby girl surrounded by a family determined to give her as normal a childhood as possible. And that was not going to be easy. A childhood under the spotlight. Most children grow up playing in parks, going to school, and living their lives without global attention. Princess Leonor did not have that luxury. From the moment she appeared in public as an infant, photographers lined up outside the royal residence. Every milestone became news. Her first appearance on the palace balcony. Her first family photo. Her first steps in public events. People across Spain wanted to see the child who would one day become their queen. Yet despite the attention, her parents were determined to protect her childhood. King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia believed that if Leonor was going to lead a modern monarchy, she needed a modern upbringing. And that meant something unusual for a royal. They wanted her to experience a relatively normal life. A different kind of royal parenting. Queen Letizia brought something unique to the Spanish royal family. Before marrying Prince Felipe, she had worked as a journalist. She understood the media world better than almost anyone inside the palace. Because of this, she was deeply aware of how constant attention could affect children. So she and King Felipe made a deliberate decision. They would control when and how Leonor appeared in public. This allowed their daughter to grow up away from excessive media exposure. For many years, Leonor's public appearances were limited to a few carefully chosen moments each year. Christmas photos, national celebrations, occasional royal events. The rest of the time, she lived a life that was surprisingly private. The arrival of a sister. 2 years after Leonor's birth, the royal family welcomed another daughter. Was born in 2007. From that moment, Leonor was no longer alone in her unique royal childhood. The two sisters quickly became inseparable. Despite the differences in their futures, Leonor destined to become queen. Sofia expected to live a more flexible royal life. Their bond was strong from the beginning. They attended school together, played together, and supported each other during public appearances. Many royal watchers noticed how naturally they interacted. There was little sign of rivalry. Instead, there was a sense of teamwork. Growing up with a sibling who understood the pressures of royal life helped Leonor navigate her unusual childhood. School days like any other child. One of the most surprising aspects of Leonor's childhood was where she went to school. Instead of being educated exclusively by private tutors inside the palace, a tradition for many royal families, Leonor attended regular school. She studied it in Madrid. Interestingly, this was the same school her father had attended years earlier. At school, Leonor wore a uniform like everyone else. She studied mathematics, science, literature, and languages alongside other students. Teachers described her as attentive, disciplined, and curious. And despite her royal status, classmates often treated her like a normal student. Of course, security was always present, but the goal was to make her school experience as ordinary as possible. Learning languages early. One of the most important parts of Leonor's education was language learning. Spain is a country with multiple official languages and diverse regional cultures. From an early age, Leonor studied Spanish, English, and other regional languages. She also developed an interest in literature and history. Royal advisors believed that a future queen must be able to communicate with people across Spain and the world. By her teenage years, Leonor was already comfortable speaking English during public events. This skill would later impress audiences when she delivered speeches on international stages. A childhood of discipline. While Leonor's parents worked hard to give her normal experiences, there was one thing they never ignored: responsibility. Even as a child, Leonor understood that she had a special role in Spain's future. Her parents introduced her to royal duties gradually. She learned about Spanish history, constitutional responsibilities, and the symbolic role of the monarchy. These lessons were not always formal lectures. Sometimes they happened during family discussions or visits to historic locations. King Felipe believed that leadership begins with understanding the nation you represent. And so Leonor's childhood included lessons that most children never receive. First public moments. As Leonor grew older, her public appearances became slightly more frequent. People across Spain were eager to see how the young princess was growing. One of her earliest notable appearances came during Spain's celebrations. Standing beside her parents and sister, Leonor watched military parades and national ceremonies. Though she was still young, observers noticed how attentive she appeared. She listened carefully during speeches and ceremonies. These early moments helped prepare her for the responsibilities that awaited her. The historic title. In 2014, something happened that changed Leonor's life forever. Her grandfather abdicated the throne. That meant Leonor's father became King Felipe VI. And instantly, Leonor became the Princess of Asturias, the official heir to the Spanish throne. She was only 8 years old. Yet from that moment forward, her destiny as future queen was no longer theoretical. It was official. Spain now had a young princess who would one day rule. Growing awareness. After her father became king, Leonor's role slowly expanded. She began attending more royal events. Her parents gradually introduced her to the public responsibilities of monarchy. Yet they continued. Protecting her childhood. Family vacations, school activities, and time with friends remained important parts of her life. This balance was intentional. King Felipe and Queen Letizia believed that emotional stability was essential for a future monarch. Leonor needed not only education and discipline but also the chance to grow naturally as a young person. A defining speech. In 2019, Leonor delivered her first major public speech during the. It was a historic moment. For the first time, the young princess addressed a national audience in her official role. Her speech impressed viewers across Spain. She spoke clearly, confidently, and with maturity beyond her years. For many people, that moment marked the transition from royal child to future leader. Leaving home for education. Another major chapter in Leonor's childhood came when she left Spain to continue her education. She enrolled at IN. This international school is known for bringing together students from around the world. Living there meant Leonor experienced something rare for a royal. Independence. She lived in dormitories, shared classes with international classmates, and participated in activities like other students. For many observers, this decision showed how seriously her parents took the idea of modern leadership. They wanted their daughter to understand different cultures and perspectives. The hidden pressures. Despite the efforts to give Leonor a balanced upbringing, the pressures of her destiny never disappeared. She always knew that one day she would become queen. Every decision, from education to public appearances, was part of preparation. This awareness can be difficult for any child. Yet Leonor has often been described as calm, thoughtful, and focused. Those close to the royal family say she has developed strong emotional discipline. A quality that will be essential for a future monarch. A sister's support. Throughout her childhood, Leonor's relationship with Infanta Sofia remained incredibly important. Sofia often accompanied her during public appearances and school life. Many royal observers believe Sofia's presence helped Leonor maintain emotional balance. Having a sibling who shares the same unusual upbringing creates a powerful bond. Together, they experienced the unique mixture of privilege and responsibility that defines royal childhood. Preparing for the future. As Leonor entered adulthood, her preparation for leadership intensified. One important step was military training. Future Spanish monarchs traditionally train with the armed forces to understand national defense and leadership. Leonor began her training at the inn. This experience marked another transition, from royal student to future commander-in-chief. What her childhood reveals. Looking back at Princess Leonor's childhood, one thing becomes clear. Her upbringing was carefully designed. Not just to protect her from pressure, but to prepare her for it. She learned discipline, education, empathy, and responsibility. She experienced both royal tradition and modern independence. These qualities may shape the kind of queen she will become. The future ahead. One day, Leonor will ascend the Spanish throne. When that moment comes, historians will likely look back at her childhood for clues about her leadership. They will see a young princess raised with balance between tradition and modern values. A girl who grew up in the spotlight yet was given space to develop her own identity. And perhaps they will understand why so many people believe she represents a promising future for the Spanish monarchy. The untold story of Princess Leonor's childhood is not just about royalty. It is about growing up with extraordinary expectations. It is about family, preparation, and quiet determination. And most importantly, it is about a young woman learning to carry the weight of a crown long before she ever wears it. If you enjoyed discovering the untold story of Princess Leonor's childhood, make sure you subscribe for more fascinating royal stories, hidden moments, and updates about the future Queen of Spain. Crown.